Cave-Barian Media.
What's up, YouTube? It's Cave-Barian Media here. This is my first YouTube movie review. I'm going to go ahead and do The Birds of Prey. The movie is not terrible. It's just not good. It's one of those movies that just falls in the... It's just very average. It's somewhere in the middle. I think it's very weighed down by all of the... I don't want to call them agendas or themes they wanted to put into this movie. They really just don't work for the character or characters that are involved. The movie starts off and does have a non-linear plot. We see that Harley and the Joker have since broken up since Suicide Squad, which I thought was an okay movie. Most people don't like it. I thought it was okay. But they broke up. We see a montage of her trying to do things to, not think about him. And early on, we're introduced to the Black Canary, who she's literally the canary in name only. And then Black Mask, who again, name only. Ewan McGregor did such a weird job portraying him. I don't understand what he was going for. Same could be said with other actresses like Mary Elizabeth Winstead as the Huntress. I don't understand what they based their portrayals off of because they're not comic accurate. So the story goes, like I said, it's non-linear where it bounces back and forth. Which is kind of difficult to do unless you're a really good director. And I don't think this lady's a bad director, but I don't think she did it very well. Fast forward, we see Cassandra Cain. She's got a shitty home life. She's, has foster parents who are fighting. When we see her, Black Canary gives her money to go get food. We then see it's just a stupid movie. We also have some fight scenes with Harley where she beats up a bunch of guys. The cops are chasing her. And she just outwits everybody and beats the hell out of everybody in her way. Because she's 90 pounds and can do that in real life, Cain, she steals a diamond that's attached. It's got connections to Huntress. And it's Victor Zsasz who has it. And she steals it from him. Again, this is another character who, at least he has some scars. But other than that, it's not Victor Zsasz. He's very flamboyant, wears ridiculous clothes. And he's got hair, which is pretty much... I don't think I've ever seen him drawn with hair, so it looks silly. I mean, the TV version was done better. We then see Cassandra Cain. Cassandra Cain steals the diamond. She gets arrested immediately, goes to the police station, and she swallows the diamond on the way there. Harley gets captured by Black Mask. While she's kidnapped, she overhears that they're looking for the diamond, and she offers to retrieve it because she's good at finding things. There's nothing to find. The diamond's at the police station. All they have to do is go get it. But they agree and let Harley go try to get it for them. Police station scene is ridiculous. It's Terminator, essentially, with all the cops just getting their asses handed to them, except it's Harley Quinn, and she's got a single-shot weapon, and they just line up and let her shoot them in the face, and no one fights back. It's ridiculous. She fights through all the prisoners by herself. She then fights a biker gang who somehow gets into the evidence locker. None of it makes sense. She then gets Cassandra Cain. They escape. Cassandra Cain then kills a woman. So she's a child who just commits murder. So again, our heroes are terrible human beings. They end up going back to Harley's place. The landlord there ends up turning them over because all men, like I said, in this movie are terrible people. They're all either bad or morons, are terrible at their job. So her landlord, who's this little old Asian guy, turns her over to Black Mask, who tries to blow her up. She then goes to her old hideout, which is this amusement park where her and Joker had a hideout, and they had weapons stored. Zsasz, Black Canary, Huntress all show up, as well as Renee Montoya. Zsasz is killed. Black Mask and the army show up. All the women decide that they want to work together to get out of there. And there's a scene where Harley hands Renee Montoya an old corset of hers to wear. There is not a world where Rosie Perez and Margot Robbie are built the same, but this corset that was made specifically for Harley, it fits her perfect. We then see a fight scene of like 50 to 60 men fighting these 4 women and a little girl. The men connect 0 times, and the women just dismantle them. I don't understand if these people... I know they hired the director from John Wick to make this exciting, but if your hero is never threatened and you're never concerned for them, you don't care because why should you? I mean, this is Pro Wrestling 101. Like, you have to have someone getting beat up to get sympathy, but you don't ever have sympathy. Renee Montoya gets shot. 13 seconds later, we learn that oh, that corset we gave you, it's bulletproof. And then the only time we see it, Black Canary uses her canary cry one time. And she tells them all to cover their ears, but Harley gets in front of her and uses it as a propulsion to get going down the road on her roller skates. But she doesn't cover her ears, so apparently she's immune to the canary cry. There is kind of a cool car scene where Harley's on her roller skates and Huntress comes with a motorcycle, so there's some visuals that are awesome. But it's just unnecessary. They end up at the dock. Black Mask actually gets killed here. I do believe in the reshoots he was killed, but originally he was meant to survive. And the next morning we see them, and there's a poop joke about Cassandra Cain having to go to the toilet to get the diamond back, and then her and Harley escape, and that's it. It's just a movie that they let the wrong people make the wrong decisions, and I don't understand why they allowed so much to go on. And it's one of those movies where there was reshoots where the plot was changed. Like I said, Black Mask was killed when I believe he was supposed to survive. Also, in the diamond was supposed to be unsavory pictures of Black Mask that he wanted back. All that was changed, and they made it to where it was a code for Huntress's family's wealth, actually. So with the reshoots, we got a movie that you can tell it's just not a good final product. And I don't understand, I don't know how it tested, but I feel like what they gave us is not very good. And I bet that what they did have was equally as not as good, but this way it's less vulgar. The pros of this movie are the hyena, Bruce. He looks amazing. The effects on him are fantastic, but he's hardly in it because I'm sure he was expensive to animate, so they worked around him. There is some cool imagery. Like I said, the scene with the Ace chemicals blowing up, it's very visually appealing. It's colorful. It's exciting. And then when you actually get to see Black Canary use her cry, that's actually really cool because, we address that she's actually a meta, which is nifty. Now the cons. There's way more cons in this film than there are pros. The biggest for me was the lack of costumes. Everybody in the movie is literally just a character in name only. Harley doesn't wear red and black at all. Black Canary doesn't wear black. They dress her in yellow the whole movie because I get it, canaries are yellow, but all they had to do was put her in a black corset and leggings and a leather jacket, and that would have fit her as a lounge singer. I don't understand why that was never done. And Huntress wears like jogging pants and glitter makeup the whole movie. It does nothing. And at the end they try to do the attempt to do the cross on her, and it just looks stupid. And Black Mask wears his mask for one scene, and it looks like just like a rubber bowling ball that they carved into a skull, and it moves when he talks. It just looks terrible. Like you can just see, it's all bad. The relationship between Zaz and Black Mask, it's weird because they're not together, but they're just weird friends, and it's very they're both awkward to watch. And then, like I said, Huntress, her character doesn't make any sense, and I hated the fact that all the men are just incompetent buffoons, and I feel like it could have been worse in that regard. But I mean, the only male who does anything of any merit is a non-speaking role. He's one of the assassins who kills Huntress's family. He protects her so she doesn't die, but he never speaks. He takes her, gives her to some people in Italy, I think it was Italy, who teach her to be an assassin. And it was just too much man-hating, I feel like. Like I said, it could have been way worse, but it was obvious that the women have to be the best at everything in this film. And I think it hurt the box office, honestly. When I saw it opening night. There were 5 people in the audience. My wife, I believe, was the only female. Everyone else was, comic book nerds. I laughed 0 times. My wife, I don't think, chuckled. She might have done it once. But she liked the movie, but it wasn't funny. And I feel like with Harley Quinn as the lead, it should have been funny. It had an R rating, and I don't know why they went with an R rating. It's one of those things where their audience is under the age of 18. The primary demographic is like 14-year-old girls probably. I mean, I've seen Hot Topic, I've seen Spencer's. They all sell clothing, like directly out of this film, and they're for girls, like young girls. But they didn't bother to aim it. They made it to where they couldn't show up. So it was projected to do 50 million. It did 33 million. The following week, they changed the title of Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. They changed it to Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. because that's what it should have been named from the get-go, because this is not a Birds of Prey movie. This is a Harley Quinn movie. Again, these are the wrong people making the wrong decisions, and Warner Brothers is again proving that they do not know what they're doing with the DC franchise. And I'm a DC fan. I prefer them over Marvel, but they have no clue what they're doing. They had some awesome movies. I've enjoyed all the Zack Snyder stuff. I mean, I know the Batman versus Superman's kind of but I enjoy watching it. I can rewatch that movie. I'll never rewatch this film. I'll never watch this again unless it's something I'm just going to sit down and critique and, just have fun with it. I mean, to make this film better, they should have had an actual hero show up, be it Batman, Nightwing, Robin. This would have been the perfect movie to introduce Batgirl. There's no reason they shouldn't have included her, because it would have been, again, a female, and they could have played off of that. Instead, they went the opposite and just said, oh, we're going to be all villains. The cop turns into a bad guy, too, because she helps the villains, in my opinion. And they should have given everybody costumes. It's 2020. In 2000, I get it. People were leery because you had to make it super real. But Captain America has paraded around in a red, white, and blue costume that's very vibrant. And so from that point forward, there's no reason to not include costumes. I don't get it. I don't understand what they were trying to do. The clothing in this movie is atrocious. It's only appealing to children because it's so bright and colorful and just full of weirdness. And then there's no real stakes. You never are concerned for Harley because she beats the hell out of everyone. I don't understand why they chose all the choices they made and the decisions they made, and none of it is good. I mean, there's, like I said, there are some positives, but overall, it is a very subpar movie and it's showing, and it's not going to be profitable. It's going to be a flop, not a total loss because it's made like 140 million at this point because this review's kind of late, but it's just not. It's not what it should have been. And that's all for this review. YouTube, good journey. If you subscribe, like the video, and I will see you the next time.